I am live, I am live. I am reading out of Speaking from the Heart, Ethics, Reincarnation and What It Means to be Human. It is a book about and by Joan Marshall Grant. It was edited by Nicola Bennett, Jane Law and Sophia Rossoff. And it describes the life of the extraordinary Joan Grant. We are here in chapter 7, and I have read quite a number of her books. Also, I translated her early autobiography into German, which I've just finished. And here are extracts from a larger book, chapter 7, High-Level Recordings. Joan was a seer. She was able to remember her previous incarnations. 1943 must have been an extraordinary year for Joan and Charles, as revelation followed revelation. As well as the Galilean experiences, there were evenings at Treliadan, which is in Cornwall, when after dinner Joan would shift level in front of the usual audience of guests, and the words that came out of her, what she or Charles termed high-level recordings, seemed to everyone present to come from an exceptionally inspired place. The vision is transcendent. The vision is transcendent. The voice compelling. The I, perhaps Jesus, perhaps Nesera, perhaps the gods or God. Never did Joan sound more on the beam, to use her own phrase, and powerful. She describes here the Lords of the Roses. I am rock, for I am no longer a rock. I am no longer a plant, so I am plants. I am no longer an animal, because I am animals. I am no longer a body, because I'm not any one of my bodies. I'm no longer arrogantly proud because I have compassion, and so I'm truly proud. I'm no longer hatred because I am love, and so I am lovable. I am no longer jealousy because I can receive, and so I am blessed. I am no longer a coward because I can recognize fear, and so I have courage. I'm no longer aloof because I can share, and so I have compassion. I no longer have faith. I no longer have faith or hope because I have charity, and so I have all three. I no longer have knowledge because I have seen wisdom whose fruit is knowledge. I am no longer one of the trees in the avenue because I am the avenue. I am no longer man or woman because I am man and woman. I no longer have enemies, for from my heart flow only the golden threads, and your friends are my friends unto the thousandth generation. And I can speak to them as God, or as man, or as woman, or as hind, or as wolf, or as badger, or as a bird, or as a hawk, or as a leaf, or as a lotus flower, as a sycamore, or as a thorn tree, or as a linden tree, or as a blade of grass, or as a rock, or as a carven pillar, or as a stone, or as a grain of dust. And the avenue is not of trees, but of people, an avenue of people who greet a leader beloved of them all. Each man and each woman in the crowd was my enemy, and is my friend, was a stranger, and is myself. I am the father of their children, and the children of their father. I am their brother, and their sister, and their kinsman, of many bloods. We are the brothers of one father, yet we were born in every country under the sun, in caves and by the river, in grass huts and under a shelter of boughs on a barren mountain, in buildings of white stone, even before the land of the great rain, on ships and in the houses of ordinary people, and in the lonely apartments of the royal wives of rulers. Our birth was attended by women of the fields, and by women who followed the files of warriors carrying their children and the spears of their husbands. We have been born unconsidered and heralded by portents. No wind has rustled the grass as our coming, and the acacia has blossomed in the cold weather, and 40 elephants have bowed at the sound of our first cry. And death we have seen disguised in motley, like this crowd, as a snake, or as a white bison, or a red deer, as the feathered serpent, as the golden vulture, as the Lord of heaven, and as the Lord of hell. We have seen him as an ape of Thoth, as the bearer of the golden Urias, as the beloved captain dead in the same battle of the dawn on the day we died, as the venerable philosopher who died of hemlock, and a dead man who smiled at us from the cross, while the blood of his stigmata ran fresh from the wounds. And we have seen him as a huckster, with whom we tried to barter for the soul of a strolling player, offering our own to the devil in exchange. We have seen him at last as a man on a horse, like the English duke we followed, and the duke took you up before him on his horse, and held you close with his arm round your waist. It was only when you saw his hand that you knew it was not the duke who had been wounded by a nail. Now together you have seen beyond the mask. All of us have remembered, and all of us thousands join in the song of rejoicing. Each of them steps forward to give you the corn of their garnering, and the grains flow together until they are one. And of this bread shall we give to the hungry, so that they may rejoice in forgiveness of sins. And you shall say to them when they do eat, in my name, in our name, in the rejoicing of the 10,000 generations, shall you share in my joy, so that to you always it shall be a leaping flame that shall dance on your singing, that shall dance to your singing and lead you across the singing hills under my sun. And when the multitude have eaten with you together like a river, you shall walk to the river, and your feet shall be light, as is always the tread of the lordly ones, so that not even a blade of grass shall be pressed down by their passing. And each of you, so very many, carry on their shoulders a water jar filled to the brim, and they shall empty their jars into the river, and as they are emptied, so they are filled. And your jar they shall fill each by each, and you shall give them to drink. And you shall say, your life is my life, and the life is the love thereof. For only love can return to the river from whence it came. And from this jar can a mirror drink and be replenished, and still it not be empty. For in my jar is the river from whence it came. And they who have drunk from your jar and eaten the bread are blessed. But they who give of the bread to others to eat, and of they whose jar slakes the thirst of another, they shall no longer fear death or life, for they recognize them as the red and white roses that they wear for a crown. And they shall hear the voice of the lords of the roses, who echo our singing to eternity. The 7 ages of man. The 7 ages of man are the embryo, the baby, the child, the youth, the mature man, the elder, and the corpse. In any of these a man may remain prisoned, or in all of them he may remain free. The one who is not in conflict with his age is free of all 7, for within himself he carries the security of the embryo, the sensory enjoyment of the baby, the wonder of the child, the enthusiasm of the youth, the creation of the mature man, the contemplation of the elder, and the reaping of the dead. The free man bring any one of these, can be any or all at the same time. But the man who is not in balance with himself sighs for the stage through which he has passed, or strains after that which is not yet in reach. Not being in balance with himself, he is not free of any age, even his own. He is the embryo about to be rejected by the womb before his time is come. He is the baby who refuses the consolation of his senses, and who, thinking himself an exile, makes sounds which are hideous both to himself and to those who tend him. He is the child who is without wonder, being occupied with thoughts of the sensory pleasure, fitting to the baby which he missed. He is the youth who is without enthusiasm, because he longs for the authority of whose attainment he is too idle. This youth becomes the man who regrets the pleasures which the youth rejected as valueless. He is in agony that he is no longer able to run with the legs of youth, being bow-legged from sitting too long in contemplation. And this man becomes an elder who, having never achieved harmony with himself, because he always looked back or forward instead of into his own heart, is an elder whose counsel is not even valuable to himself. And this elder becomes the corpse which has nothing to contemplate, no harvest of experience to sustain him. Therefore, being hungry, must hurry towards the womb of another mother, at whose breast he may slake his thirst. But the wise man, being all ages, can in one day be the elder and the child. In the fullness of each day he returns to a body which is rested with the tranquillity of the embryo. The silk robe in which he wakes, the polished teak wood of the chest beside his bed, the porcelain cup in which his tea is brewed, are all as satisfying to him as the warm skin of the wet nurse, and the tea is as sustaining as her milk. He goes into the courtyard, and seeing that the peach tree is again in full bloom, or that the peony has unfolded its first leaf, feels the wonderment of the child. Whether he transcribes characters upon vellum, or plants his rice field, or caresses his wife, or even listens to her conversation, he will do so with the enthusiasm of the youth, knowing that infinite repetition cannot dim endless variety. He will then adjust any disharmony which may have arisen in the circle of his influence. If a wall has fallen, it shall be built up again. Or if two of his servants have quarrelled, he will give justice between them, and so restore them to balance. For he is the man of action. In the evening he will discuss with his friends that one of the 10,000 things which presents himself to him. Then he will return to his room to dream, while his body lies as quiet as a corpse. For he is the wise man, who is full of dreams, wherein the answers and the questions are as twin suns, who always walk hand in hand. Shall that man say, the hours of the morning shadows are preferable to the cool of the evening, when he can see the day as a whole? Knowing himself for a whole man, he will know also that if he wishes for the fruits of autumn, it is useless to invoke the goddess of spring, and that on the day he plants his rice, he should not do so in the name of the Lord of the harvest. Therefore I say to all men who would become a sage, think not of thyself as one of 7, but as all 7. And this you may do by being content to live in each of the courtyards, in turn in the house of the 7 courtyards. For then you shall be master in your own house, and a free man, and a sage. And to all who come there shall be 7 hosts. And they shall say of you in the house of the 7 courtyards, you are 5 generations, and all of them are content. Such a man is never alone, For within himself are his Father and his Son, who are together in harmony. I am the way. You have asked why it was written of me, I am the way. Because I am born of fire, and I am one with the brothers of fire, who were of my stature when the world was inborn of galaxies. I am, so I am. I am, so I am they. I am you. I am the beginning and ending. I am the rock. I am the plant. I am the animal, and I am the man who is with you in company. I am the Lord of the earth and of all things under the earth. Whosoever liveth in me, and in they who are born of me, he is even as those born of my brothers. I am the sun which shone upon you when you were rock, and I am that rock. I am the sun which shone upon you when you were a tree, and I am that tree, the roots, the branches, and the leaves thereof. I am the leveret and the hind, the bear and the fish, and I am great fish, great bear, great hind, great leveret. I am their morning and their evening, and I am their children also. I am the unborn man in the first womb aforetime, when the 1,000,000 generations were yet unborn. I am the dark man leaping to the rhythm of drumming in the firelight, and the red man proud with feathers. I am the sage, immutable upon the mountains, and the young girl who runs along the beach under the palm tree. I am the little man of the arrows, and the emperor enthroned with jade. I am the child playing in the kraal, and the pharaoh of the two lands. For I am tomorrow and yesterday, the child, the youth, the man of action, and the sage. To all of whom I say, my way is your way, as the way of my brothers is my way, and the way of the hind, and the moss of the snow, and of the breath by which we were created. I am the dawn on the high hills, and the splendor of noonday. I am the long shadows and the singing stars. I am life, life of 10,000 generations of the rock. I am the hidden fire of emeralds and the denizen of rubies. I am the fish and the monsters of the deep. I am the eagle and the dove. I am the vulture and the night singing bird. I am life, born of their life. They come to me, for I am they. I am you and the children in whom you were born by 10,000 generations. I am your tears and your laughter, and the days of your birth and of your dying I have shared with you. I am the philosopher and the sage, and with you I have thrown the spear at our enemies. With you I have echoed the fond whispers of immortal lovers. With you I have sped the sands with swift running. With you I have shared the wonder of children, to whom I have never been far away. With you I have shared the urgency of the newborn, and the security of they who have not come forth. I am life, for the life which belongs to me and to all things and to my brothers, to whom galaxies are as a torch in the hand, is one. I am the unity which is manifold, for I am the beginning and the ending. And you, my daughter, have never seen me as imponderable, and so I have been able to come to you as a friend. You have known me as the Shining One, and called me by the name of Ptah. You have called me by the 1,000 names that I have borne. When the sun shone on the hind which came forth from the shadows of the forest, you have greeted me, and as a flower, and as a woman, and as a man. I am the resurrection, the beginning, and the ending. 10,000 beginnings without ending. From the beginning is born the beginning, for there is no ending. Even as from galaxy there is born galaxy, and the sun bringeth forth a sun. I'm as old as fire, the fire brought down from heaven in the hands of the first man, to kindle my flame in the darkness of the world, which was ready for that kindling. Look back. See a millennium as a grain of dust in your hand. You thought 20,000 years was long, but it is short when you remember that you knew me by another name. Now I am closer to you. Look back to the rock and hear my voice in the storm. Look back to the plant and see my rays in the morning. Look back to the hind and hear my voice in the call of the stag. Look back to the bear and find my comfort in the winter sleep. Look back to the lion and find my courage in its pride. Look back to the gazelle and see my eternity in its swiftness. Look back to the man and hear my voice in all his love. All that has been spoken in love calls to me, and it is that voice which brought me to you. That voice must bring me, even as night bringeth the dawn. No longer shall you think this thing or that thing, this God or that God, this way or that way. Seeing all ways, you know them for one. Seeing all gods, you know them for brothers. And you know me, not as a man who lived in Galilee, but as he who is sister to the clouds, who is brother to the sun, who is mother to the moon, and son unto the stars. I have become one with all things, and in my name you are never only a child, or only a youth, or only a man of maturity, or only a sage, neither are you dead or unborn. For in my name you are all things, being yesterday and tomorrow. And you shall share all things, knowing that they are of you as you are of me. And you shall no longer be confused by the words of sages and prophets. And you shall no longer be confined by mysteries, nor dimmed by the complexities of the harsh daylight. Even though the tawdry wail of words, you shall see me, and I shall smile upon you, and share with you the peace that you share with others. And we will laugh together as you laugh with others, and I will love you, for you love others. You will no longer be alone in today, for today is born of tomorrow, and yesterday, even as I. And you shall call to the rock, brother, I am no longer alone. And you shall call to the plant, brother, I am no longer alone. And to the man, brother, I am no longer alone. And to me, brother, I am no longer alone. For I have said to you, we are in company. And in the name of the morning and the evening, and of the evening, my son at noonday shall be with you, now and always, for we are the life aforetime and for eternity. Well, today is Monday, the 26th of February, 2024. Have a good Monday.